I've got a wee problem. I'm just in the process of trying to find the stuff that I've backed up and saved on a software program called OneNote. The evidence that the computer that my wife ran her dental administration business and CPD in, using my back bedroom in our jointly owned home for the whole of the last year of her residence in that home, right up to June the 4th 2014. She pretended that the computer had broken, and I insisted that I get it back, and when I opened it I discovered that what had happened was that the machine had been encrypted. And I logged that into OneNote, and now Bill Gates and his mates are not going to let me open the software package on the machine in the other room, where I've already logged my wife's data and our relationships with her brother and our explicit correspondence on Facebook pages, on, you know, massive issues that involve the regulation of healthcare professions, which my brother-in-law is involved in. And on this machine, which is our main machine, which is the one that I tried to open OneNote on, Facebook chat, dentistry and VJL, which is my wife's initials, it's been completely crashed. All of those tabs that give the data on the encryption have been screwed. I cannot open them. I cannot even close the software down. This is one of the software packages which does not need you to save it. What you do is you just close it at the end of your work period, and everything is automatically saved that you've pasted onto there. They are in a state of panic. This is the world owners that I am confronting, and my wife is divorcing me as an indecent person because I'm prepared to protect all of the world's children against the massive fraud. And my own children, 2 of the 3 who have already gone to university, are already thousands of pounds in debt. My 3rd son, who worked for the Queen's Equerry in Malawi, earned £2,000 to be privileged enough to go there. Most of that goes to them. That's Lord Strang Steele. And since he came back, we've got the Ebola scandal and the healthcare issues that also impact on him and his girlfriend at the time that they went there. It is just amazing. And they are ever so deceitful and devious. This is just about my wife being employed from our jointly owned home, but she's now made a declaration that she left that home in 2011, which is the basis of the new writ that I intend to vigorously contest. And when I discovered that the computer in this room, which is the one that had been encrypted, I copied it all and I logged it on OneNote. There's the machine. Just broke down when she managed to get it out of the house for a few months. And the other thing that she left as an iconic gesture was her shredder, as if she didn't need it anymore, and she's done all of the shredding that she needs to do already. And it is just amazing. She was trained with at Baker Street in London by Marks and Spencer's, and all of it is a desertion campaign entirely for profit. And I'm completely stunned that the woman that I loved for all of those years is prepared to contemplate desertion on this scale. I could show you, if the computer were working, that she's just written to me. She cannot wait for the outcomes of the divorce case, which will strip everything that I owned before I met her from me, and the vast 6-figure sums that we have saved at the bank, entirely due to my six-figure earning capacity over the years, and my ownership of the houses, which increase in value every time. But now all of that is screwed. And when she wrote to me the other day, she said, "George, I'm desperately short of cash." This is after she's gotten rid of me as the financial burden. I'm living on something like £150 a month. I've shut down everything that we had to pay for. She could have done all of that, and she could have shared my pensions for the rest of our lives, loyally and lovingly. Instead, she has opted for the for-profit desertion of the world's most insightful fraud researcher, and he will not be put down by this. I'm going to have to close the computer and start all over again. Okay, that's Facebook chat, dentistry and VJL. I cannot shut it down. I've tried every method to shut it down and all of them fail, so I'm just going to have to switch it off and hope that the encrypted data and the images that I got from the computer screen in the other room, which was my computer brought by me for my kids' recreational purposes back from Otago University, where I purchased it from my income, and I let her use it for her new employer, who is her brother, and she has completely abused me and my boys since. She intends to take all of the money that we have in the bank and blow it all on spending sprees. I've got other videos that describe the heritable assets that my brother-in-law's company have at their disposal, and he owns a massive mansion in the Prime Minister's constituency. That's the English Prime Minister in Whitney. Yeah, everything that they do is a theft project, and he is a leader of the dentistry profession, but is now stealing thousands and thousands of pounds from the defrauded UK students in dentistry, who now have to pay fees for the education that he got for nothing. And you can find him on Facebook. On YouTube, he's got a series of inspiring mentors in his life, none of whom I've ever heard of, and nothing that he does is concerned with the welfare of his profession, even on the YouTube channels. But the welfare of his family and his heritable properties is really booming, and I intend to disclose them for their outlandish profiteering in the next few days. And if, when he looks at the website that I've just created and what I've posted on there about the Trident nuclear weapons scandal, and me being the only person in the UK who's prepared to take on that massive scandal. My wife is a great admirer of Robert Redford in all of those romantic films, which include the Watergate film. When her husband begins to become a fraud researcher and detects what her family excels in, you should see what the in-laws do. Their name is Salter, and I've got reams of PDFs on their laundering crimes in the Brighton region and all over the UK, all into the tax havens all over the globalised world that my brother-in-law in the dentistry profession, in inverted commas, attends. That's the globalised trading world where he sells the CPD product after they launched the Shipman threat. Shipman is, as I've told you multiple times, the man that launched the CPD industry in healthcare, but the real need for the creation of Shipman the serial killer was the evidence that Shipman, the war correspondent, brought forward in the Arms for Iraq scandals and the killing of David Kelly. It is vicious and ruthless, and the children are the victims. Even my own children are thousands of pounds in debt, and I'm portrayed as the burden in this marriage. I could try and light up the other computer. Oh, something's happened on screen there, and they're gonna let me paste something up there, which is, they've begun to take down my website pages of the images I have saved, Remember how I described the other day how in the video on the no bombing zones in Oxford, Cambridge and Göttingen, that the picture of Oxford University had disappeared and it had been replaced just by a little wooden box, a little square box. Now the original picture site for my Google sites has been shut down, but not by me. That contains the vast number of images that are on my website, and I've got them backed up, but on OneNote and on hard disks. So it is ever so sad that family members and loved ones are prepared to behave like this, but because they were born in the Rothschild region, and because I know that almost everyone that I work with in Hertfordshire is either on the Forbes rich list or is in the money laundering sectors, then I completely understand it. The whole world has been sold into slavery in financial services fraud, and the treasuries are empty as a consequence, and my children face a life in debt, but I'm not allowed to know what their address is. That's law enforcement in Scotland, and it is all going to change in the next month or two. See the earlier videos I made on correspondence with the new Justice Secretary in Scotland, that's Michael Matheson MSP, and the correspondence with Paul Wheelhouse on his intranet system. I have receipts from administrators who are far from the offices of the politicians I've tried to get the message across. I have received no contact at all from any of the UK politicians on the Trident scandal, and the Trident scandal is massive. There's the images that I made today on the disappearing websites for the images, and that is the nuclear extinction threat, and those are the fraudulent directors, mercenary army leaders, and there we have the second company so that they can overlap with Trident 4. Trident 3 is also registered at 84 Eccleston Square, London, SW1 V1PX. And all of it is coming out. There's instant companies, swift incorporations, the big laundering tools like my brother-in-law uses in his dental professions, and it is ever so sad that my children, who I'm not allowed to know the address of, are entertained by him and his homosexual partner. I'm not allowed to advise them on anything, which is why they went to sub-Saharan Africa for the Queen's Equerry. And all of that is a theft project. See the video I made the other day on the World Wildlife Fund, the profiteering in the Poppy Fund, and the death in the revolving door of Mark Shand, Camilla's sister and Prince Charles's brother-in-law, after the other brother-in-law made his ballistic speech at Diana's funeral. Everything is twisted and deceitful and disloyal, and if somebody steps out of line in this sector, then the human race could be extinct.